Welcome back, America. Time for the Yinzer Report. Salena Zito joins me. All things Salena can be found at Zito Salena on Twitter, at Zito Salena on Twitter, or just go to salenazito.com for all our columns. Good Monday to you, Salena.
Good morning, Hugh. How are you this morning?
I'm great. I'm a little bit, weekends are always fun. Mondays are always a little bit foggy. But I want to ask you about Donald Trump's speech in Waco. I'm playing large chunks of it. I can't play the whole thing. It went for 90 minutes. But do you think it was accurately portrayed in the media?
Well, I didn't watch the whole speech, so I don't know how well they accurately portrayed it. However, because it's 90 minutes long.
Yes.
However, what part do you think was? Where do you think the disconnect is?
The disconnect is in emphasis. I've been listening the first 10 minutes or so, and he's beginning. It's sort of a standard litany of the grievances the former president has. Elections are stolen. Supreme Court won't hear my case. My lawyers have to testify. It's all familiar, but there is no menace about it. And I thought it was reported as though he was menacing the country, but that's an error. And so I want to hear, does he threaten anyone? What's he saying? I just don't think they understand yet that they can't do that without upsetting and bringing to him even more, they being elite media, even more attention to and support for his base. Am I wrong about that?
Oh, you're not wrong about that. I think it has been fascinating to watch my profession cover Trump as opposed and sort of the Trump DeSantis dynamic, and it is almost, there is this sort of inference, and they're reporting, and I'm not quite sure if they're doing it on purpose or not, that they really want him to win because
the nomination.
Yeah, well, yes, the nomination. Because they miss all the clicks and the attention and the drama of having him run for office. For them, Biden's been kind of boring. It's sort of like when they covered Al Gore in 2000. They had covered him for 8 years. They thought he was kind of boring. And GW was more interesting. So W got more attention. He didn't get the negative attention that Trump gets, but the negative attention that Trump gets is the kind of thing that gets people all riled up and for him. I will say this. I do think that they are overblowing the fact that they believe, meaning other reporters, not all, but a lot of other reporters have been writing, they believe that DeSantis hasn't been, attacking enough and he's falling away. And that's another inference that I think is wrong, having spent a lot of time out there with voters last week and finding that voters aren't expecting DeSantis to fight right now. They understand, voters aren't stupid, despite what a lot of reporters think. They understand he hasn't declared, and that he still expects to do a job as governor until he declares, until this session is over. And they aren't going to not vote for him just because in this moment he's not fighting with Trump.
Yeah, I don't believe anything is close to being resolved on either side about what's going to happen, because stuff always happens, right? We have to, if we have a war with Taiwan between now and then, that's going to change the dynamic. But the question on my mind, in Israel, they have giant demonstrations by the left and people opposed to the judicial reform that Netanyahu ran on. In France, they've got those demonstrations. Do you think those two guys, Netanyahu and Macron, remember Liz Truss blinking and losing? I have already said many, many times, I don't think they're going to blink, but I don't know. What do you think?
I don't think they're going to blink. I think, again, could be wrong, but just based on their past behavior, I don't think they're going to blink, because these are two people that learn and understand what happens when you do blink.
Yeah, and what happens is it all falls apart. Now, I want to go back
Yeah.
to Trump based on that. He can't ignore the Manhattan DA or his people will be upset with him. Am I right about that?
Yeah, and I think also it's important to note, when Brad Todd and I wrote the book, The Great Revolt, the whole heart of that book was this coalition and how sort of different it was and interesting and how it formed. But I do not believe that he has the full coalition this time. I believe that the people that are the strongest with him are the people that are the least ideological. And that's where I think this race gets interesting, right at that moment.
It's going to continue. We're going to follow it. I'm going to play more of the Trump speech. Salena Zito has a new column up about Chris Christie, which I've just tweeted out. If you follow me over at Hugh Hewitt on Twitter, at Hugh Hewitt, you also find there at Zito Salena. Thank you, Salena.